Last year, a laid-back friend's story. Spring break was supposed to be just me and my friends, Jackson, Ariel, and Isabel, camping on a secluded beach in Alabama. No crowds, just stars and waves. We got there late, later than we planned. We parked in the closest lot and began walking toward the beach. The place was dead quiet. No other campers, no fishermen, nothing but empty sand stretching for miles. According to Isabel, who was familiar with the area, locals sometimes use that part of the beach for overnight fishing, but that night, it was empty. It wasn't fully dark out yet, but the sun had started setting, so we'd need to set up camp quickly. Jackson and I began pitching the tents. Since I had brought my dog Bean with me. He was a Doberman who loved the sand, so we all got a kick out of watching him run and roll around. At one point,
Ariel pointed out a car in the distance, saying it had driven by twice already. I turned.
An old, beat-up-looking SUV slowly rolled past on the narrow access road that ran parallel to the dunes. The access road was a little more than a strip of packed sand, just wide enough for one car. On one side was the beach where we were, and the other side was a line of shrubs. You couldn't really see the main roads from where we were. The car drove by and ultimately disappeared down the road. The four of us shrugged it off and went back to setting up. And by the time we finished, we decided to crack a few beers and chop it up in a circle. The girls drank seltzers instead of beer, which we made fun of them for. It was almost fully dark at that point. I can't remember who noticed it first, but that car that had driven by was back again. Only this time, it stopped when it was parallel to us. The driver's door opened, and a man got out. I could tell it was a man because he was really tall, although I couldn't make out any features of his face. He began walking towards us,
and the girls got nervous. Jackson and I told them not to worry, and we got up to go intercept the man before he could reach our campsite. Bean was already on high alert,
so I told him to come with us. As we got closer, I started to notice that he was walking oddly. There was this slight limp in his walk, and he almost stumbled a few times.
When we got close enough, Jackson said, "How's it going, man?"
Trying to keep things light. The guy didn't waste any time. He immediately said, "You're on my property." He slurred his words a bit, and I figured he was a little drunk.
I told him we thought the beach was public land. Keep in mind, it was really unlikely that some dude owned the beach. There were no private signs anyway. After I said that,
the guy didn't answer. Instead, he pulled out a knife. Bean started growling in response to the man's body language, which honestly should have scared the guy off. Doberman charged, knife out.
Bean charged at him and jumped to attack his arm that was holding the knife, causing him to fall to the ground. I yelled, "No," at the top of my lungs,
as I didn't want my dog to get stabbed. But Bean somehow got the dude to drop the knife. The man screamed in pain as Bean bit his arm. I whistled for him to get off,
and he listened to me. He ran back to my side, but kept his eyes on the guy, who was now writhing in pain on the ground. Eventually, the guy got up and started running back towards his car. Jackson and I ran back to the girls, telling them everything. By the time we finished, that SUV had driven off. The girls wanted to pack up and carry everything back to the car, but there was a part of me that was nervous about that plan. That guy was unhinged. There was no telling what he'd do, and I wasn't keen on walking in darkness with my hands full. Isabel made a good point though, saying that he might return with a gun or something. I told Ariel to call the police and tell them where we were and what happened. Once the police were close by, the four of us started walking towards the parking lot with our stuff. Bean was on high alert, and I have to admit, the only reason I felt even remotely safe was because of him. I noticed lights up ahead near my car, and I was relieved. The officer stepped out to take our statements, and I was not ready for what happened next.
He quickly pointed out my car's tires were slashed. and I was horrified to find out they were. The officer unholstered his weapon and told me to unlock the car, which I did.
He opened my trunk, but thank God. It was a false alarm. The officer was nice enough to help me with my tire situation. Thank God we brought Bean with us that night.
That guy was probably a drunken lunatic. It could have probably been a quadruple murder if he had gotten his way. Finding a nice, secluded place to hang out is definitely an awesome time, but it obviously comes with its risks.